valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, 'cause you ordered my steps. Thou preparest a table before mine enemies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, 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 boys and girls. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are live right now on Couch Talk. So, guys, if you are watching on via TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, whatever streaming platform you guys are watching from, thank you for joining us tonight and on Couch Talk, where we are encouraging spirits, strengthening bonds, real conversation on faith, and addressing life changing issues. Tonight, we're gonna be discussing, man, this topic: hurt people. And if you missed it last week, you should definitely go back and revisit that conversation with that I had with Dr. Curtis Bracy and myself, Boswell Anglin. I'm your host, Boswell Anglin. And if you missed that conversation last week, I'm imploring you to go back and watch it. But for now, please go ahead, share the live, let others know that I'm live. And I have here with me tonight none other than the trauma boss herself. Oh my God, it's good to have her. I had her last year, guys. So if you didn't get to watch that series, but I had Shanice Layler Bogle. She was here last year, around the same time last year, right? I think
About that time. Yeah.
it was, yes. So if yes, it was last year, about the same time last year, I had her on, and that was a great conversation myself and her had. But let me just give you a quick synopsis of who she is. So Shanice Layler Bogle is known as, I stated, the trauma boss. She has experience in various life hardship and now employ unique methods to help women overcome the effects of childhood trauma such as emotional brokenness, molestation, parental separation, abandonment, rejection wounds, and griefs. She focuses on helping experience freedom, healthy relationships, and marriages by offering various programs, courses, one to one sessions, and mentorship opportunities. Right? Her signature coaching program, Bye Bye Pain, has been making waves internationally and locally, radically transforming lives, healing women, and fortifying household. She's creatively merged healing childhood trauma, emotional healing with femininity. Femininity. I hope I said that word right. I hope I didn't jack it up. Right? And etiquette. This has never been heard of. Along with her husband, Shanice Layla Bogle also coaches in their couples program, The Love Revival, and teaches on YouTube via their couples channel, When Two Becomes One, helping singles and married couples heal, grow, and execute purpose. Shanice also trained ministers, school leaders, and corporate organizations about human complexities and development, resilience, and holistic wholeness for lasting impact on the professional and spiritual spaces. Miss Layla Bogle is a wife to Anthony Bogle, mother of two, which is Honori and Ariel Bogle, trauma and relationship coach, author, speaker, educator, and mental health advocate. She is the founder and director of the Will to Live in Jamaica Foundation. I hope I said that right. A suicide prevention organization, and the CEO of her own trauma recovery coaching business, Mind, Body, Spirit, Accelerate. She has gained recognition for her work through several international and local newspaper magazine features like The Gleaner, Canvas Rebel magazines, Miami magazines. She has had television appearance on Weekend Smile and numerous Love FM radio interviews. Shanice is highly resilient, with degree from the University of West Indies, American College of Education, and studies at Rutgers University, USA. She is deeply committed to operating with excellence with the guidance of the Holy Spirit to make a lasting impact on the lives of those she called to serve. So that's just a synopsis of who she is, guys. And if you don't know, she's also an author that write, I think, about 6 or 7 books now. I hope I'm not exaggerating, but I
No,
know that
it's
how many?
4.
It's 4. All right. So the 7 is going to be completion, and I'm sure one is in the works right now as we speak. So,
Amen.
guys, welcome to the Couch Talk platform. None other than yours truly, Shanice Layla Boga. Thanks for being here. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much, Sir Anglin, Mr. Coach Talk. And on behalf of Mrs. Coach Talk, thank you so much for having me on. It really is a pleasure to share the stage with you guys. And in her absence, I really want to say thank you guys for the work that you are doing and the conversations that you are having in the body of Christ, because many of these topics definitely needed. And I'd say all of them. And so thank you. Thank you for allowing the Lord to use you. And thank you for opening and sharing space with our platform as well in the absence of my husband.
All right, thank you for being here. Guys, if you are watching right now, please do me a favor. Go ahead and share the live to 10 friends.
Yes.
If everybody that's watching now share the live to 10 friends, I notice that there's what, 8, 9 people watching on this platform. So if that would bring us to what, 50, 80, that would be 80 people online.
10
So
times 8 to
yeah,
share.
10 times 8 is 80. So go ahead and share it. This conversation you don't want to miss out on, because there's going to be no bars hold, and we're going to be having conversation. Everything is going to be on the table for discussion. All right. So guys, if you watched last week, we were discussing the topic Earth People, Earth People, right? And I've had Dr. Curtis Bracy here last week. It was a phenomenal session that we had, and now, as I said, it's good to have you, Shanice, to be a part of this discussion, because I wanted to hear insight from from the trauma boss herself, from a woman's perspective, a person that specializes in marriage counseling and all these different fields that you specialize in. So I'm gonna be talking to you because I'm sure you've had a lot of experiences, right? So what's the first thing that come to your mind when you hear this topic? Hurt people, hurt people.
Very, very complex and layered topic. And, sometimes it seems simple that, oh, this is a no brainer, hurt people. But one of the first things that came to mind is, do I really believe that hurt people 100%?
Mm.
So, off the bat, yes, there's a lot of truth to it. There's a lot of correlation between if you are hurt, then you will end up hurting somebody or others around you, whether knowingly or unknowingly. But
Mm.
the first thing that popped up to me is it's not always true. So it's a yes and no, multifaceted question or statement. And yes, it has some truth to it, but it's not always a guarantee. Because especially now, when we're seeing there are different ways or modes of expression, especially if it is like a traumatized or trauma imprinted person who has been hurt, then that statement will not be a blanket statement for everybody, because not
Right.
all hurt people. So that's what came to mind when I heard that.
So not all hurt people hurt people. Let me make sure I could put you on so these guys can see who I'm talking to on TikTok, so they can relate to.
I TikTok. Okay.
Right. Okay. So not all hurt people hurt people. So do you think it's a choice, or do you think it's yeah? What do you think? Do you think it's a choice when if someone is being hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a choice on that person that who is the receptor of the hurt to
Mm-hmm.
decide if they're gonna hurt someone else, or do you think it naturally just happened?
Hmm. And that's a very powerful question because a lot of people think that we are enslaved to past hurts or that conditioning. The truth is, the subconscious programming that causes us to hurt others rarely comes down to a decision, but is the decision understood to be wrong all the time? Then that is the part that the no comes in sometimes. A lot of times it's not that people understand that this is not to be done. A lot of times it is resorted to because it is the known way for
Mm,
some, but it still is a choice. If I do something to someone that caused hurt, it was my choice. But do I understand that this is going to hurt the person? That part is not always rationalized. That part is the part where you will get some no's out of it because the intention may not have been what it has created, but the decision was made. So,
mm.
yes, it's a decision. Sometimes it's not intentional, but it was a decision that was made when the act was done or the action was done. The reason behind it is what we can always reason out or say and explain or justify that it was not of that intention or understanding.
So do you feel, I'm not going to go off script tonight. I'm not I'm not staying on script because, I like to have script, but I
Yeah.
like to let conversations flow, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go too much on the script. Have you ever been in a position where someone has been hurt by you per se, right? And
Hurt
you
by
were,
me.
yeah, and you were just unaware of that situation?
Yes. Yes. So unaware, but I made a decision to do or say something, and it caused hurt. Even though my intention was not to hurt, it still did, but the decision of what was done or said was mine. So, yes,
And
I've been in that position before.
and how did you take accountability for the part
Mhm,
that you play in hurting someone
mhm.
unintentionally, unbeknownst?
Yeah,
How do you do that?
that's a very good question, because this is a serious, serious topic,
It
very
is.
serious, very in depth, very layered, because emotional intelligence is something to seek after. Everybody who is, I heard somebody say, before I even answer the question, a believer especially must pride themselves in being able to have deep layered conversations. Is it a prerequisite for salvation? No, but it is very important when a believer is emotionally intelligent
Right,
because we will be able to mimic Christ like character even more, right? And
right.
so we will bear the fruits of the Spirit even more because character development is our responsibility. So, how did I rectify that? I had really to step into the fact that before I am trauma specialist or whatever the titles are, I'm a Christian first. I
Mm-hmm.
am a saved human being first. And my understanding, my nature, the titles, they don't matter. If anybody knows me by now, those things do not move me. They don't matter to me. And so while they have some importance, my first response is to value the voice of God over anything else, even my own feelings. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I practice, Mr. Coach Talk, Sir Anglin, is that I like to, even if it takes me a while, I'm willing to listen.
Right.
And even if I don't see things how you see it, I practice being quick to humble myself because
Ooh.
I don't want God humble me for me. So I ask the Lord to help me to humble myself. Show me me. Show me me. And so I think in Proverbs 13, if I'm not mistaken, where the Lord really showed me one time that pride is the root of contention.
Hey.
So if there is pride, I ask the Lord, how do I go against that?
Mm-hmm.
And what the scripture explained was have a teachable spirit. If you have a teachable spirit, then pride will not be able to take you over. So when people say, "You've hurt me," your best bet is to be willing to listen to what was said, even if you don't agree, even if that was not your intention, and humble yourself. Always be willing to be taught. It doesn't matter by who says it. If it's your child, if it's your baby, if it's your partner, if it's a friend, always be willing to humble yourself. And that is something that I try to practice. Every time I hear or I assume that I caused some kind of hurt, I try to humble myself, I listen, and the next step is I will ask questions. So I have to be aware of what is going on, because if you're not aware, you will continue the practice. And so sometimes the people around you may not be willing to brave up and tell you what you did or what you said, but reading the room is a next skill that we
Right.
need to have. Emotional intelligence, where we are reading the room, we know the environment that we're in, we can see the cues, especially with partners, the things that have been done, the things that have been said, and if they're not in alignment with that safe space, you can tell. You can
Right.
tell. And
Right.
so it's really a good practice to learn to listen, humble ourselves, and be willing to change things. Admit, be vulnerable, take accountability, and express that you are aware and you are sorry about it. So if you didn't mean it, this is your chance to explain what you meant or explain what your intentions were, and then justify, because
Right.
emotional intelligence is key
It's
to
key.
admitting.
So talking about awareness now, right? So we as parents, right? And let's talk about, we're going to talk about being at a place of authority, right? Where we feel as if we are grown, right? Let's say we are the parents and we have our kids, and
Mm-hmm.
we may say certain things to our kids, on not just because they are kids, we feel like we have the authority over them and we could talk to them any and any how, and it's okay. But
Yeah.
um now if you reflect on that, right? And
Yeah.
and just remember when you were a kid and how your parents talk to you, and they may say something that hurt you,
Yeah.
right? Now, how you as a parent now, right, who's in the role of a parent,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
now you have the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing that your parents did to you, you did that same thing to your kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you try to be at a level, and bring yourself to a place where
Yes.
you put yourself in those kids position, and say, I remember I was this age. How can you
Mm-hmm.
humble yourself and say, well, I'm the parent, so you just do what I tell you to do, and don't.
Mm-hmm.
How do
Very.
you humble yourself in that? Because that takes a lot of humility, especially when you
Yeah.
feel like you have
Very,
so much wisdom more than them. But
yeah.
does that mean you don't listen to them? So
Mm-hmm.
how do you find yourself in a place where
Yeah.
you become subservient and listen to what they are saying? How do you do that?
Yeah. There's so many things that comes to mind, Bazi, with that question,
Yeah.
because that one is layered. When you're raising children, when you're growing children, especially in the fear of the Lord, it's not everything that will be said or done they will accept as being kind. My 4-year-old told me the other day, "You're mean." she she told she told me that you're mean. And I said, "I'm not mean. I am trying to prevent you from getting hurt." So their minds will interpret what you're doing sometimes as mean. However, it goes back to the part of being willing to humble yourself.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I say some things or I speak a certain way, and in my spirit, I feel checked. It's almost like I feel like the Lord is in the room watching me and listening to what I'm saying to the children. And with that, I feel convicted. And so it takes, again, not only emotional maturity, but spiritual maturity. Check your spirit, like check. As a parent, open the spiritual ears and open
Mm-hmm.
your eyes. When
Right.
you feel that check in your spirit, you will know that what you said, God is not pleased. Sometimes just shouting at them and being overly, we call it passionate, sometimes even that, it stirs up your spirit and you start to feel like the Lord start minister to you. You should not have shouted. You should
Mm.
not have yelled. You should not have pushed. You should not have yanked. The Lord will speak to us concerning the children as well.
But
He,
do you go now after that, after you get that check and say,
yeah,
listen, maybe
okay.
daddy shouldn't talk to you this way, but I
Uh-huh.
apologize. Do you humble yourself and say, you know what? I
Yeah.
apologize. I shouldn't talk to you
Not,
that way.
yeah, not all the time, but a lot of time. Because even today, my oldest daughter, she's sick, and so she didn't go to school. And I
Right.
came home after work, and I went about my business, checked in on her, but didn't really establish paused connection. And while I'm showering the younger one, the Holy Spirit just said to me, go back to the room and establish some kind of physical touch.
Mm.
Establish physical touch. So you see, that's why I'm saying that the key is to always be willing to be humble, whether you're a parent or a sister or a brother or a wife. If you as an individual, you are willing to just live raw and open for God to use, the children will be just a byproduct of that humility.
Mm.
So the authority that you have will not be taken for granted like it's an absolute power. No, they can say something that you can listen to. They can say something to you that you've said or done, and you can go back and apologize. It doesn't make you less of a parent. It
Right.
makes you a better parent
Right.
because you are a better example to these children that hey, because guess what? Even with the hurt people, it's the home that these children see. Nobody has a role model much these days. When we call the attachment style
Mm.
theory, the children form attachment from their caregivers. And when the children do not see a role model modeling high intense days, so when
Mm.
parents are stressed or parents are caught up in a lot of adrenaline moments and children don't see how a parent handle that, so we see arguments, we see resolution. If there's not a lot of role models, good role models, children will one turn the blame on themselves or they will begin to hurt others. They will begin to speak a certain way, they live a certain way because they're replicating what was
It
imprinted.
is. Yes.
It's a replication. So what
So
I had to do today, I dropped what I was doing. So after I showered the little one, I walked back around the room and I humbled myself and I said, come here. And I talked to her. I said, what did you learn today? And I didn't just do what me feel like do. I went and I did what the Lord said, establish skin to skin connection. And I put
right.
my hand on her head, I put my hand on her neck, and I made her feel my presence.
Good.
Mother to child. In a humble way. I could have said, oh, me busy, me a big woman. You stay around the sun, me staying in my corners. Uh-uh.
Right. Right.
God is my father. And so my daddy, because even though we're parents, we are
Hmm.
somebody's children too.
Absolutely.
So we are reporting to the bigger heads, and the bigger heads who is daddy say we must also treat these little ones in a certain manner. And it go
Mm.
back to kick away title. Yes, we have a spiritual role and function over them and a physical one, but we ultimately answer to our Father as well over these children because He gave them to us.
So I'm bringing it right home. I love what you say about that because concerning being having that authority over your kids. Now I'm going to bring it a little closer home, where
Yeah.
we talk about the spiritual leaders or pastors over a congregation on a whole, right? And
Uh-huh.
how you, let's say you are a leader,
Mm-hmm.
how would you want your people that you're leading to approach you if you've hurt them? How would you like for them to approach you? Would you humble yourself and have a conversation with them and say, well, okay, I take responsibility and accountability for the
Yeah.
hurt that I caused. How would you handle that situation? Let's say you hurt somebody. Go ahead.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful question because it can go two ways. It can go many
Mm-hmm.
ways, but two main ways. If you are a leader who has not done your healing work, your unhealed past will come out in your leadership style.
Mm.
And it come out as being strict and stern and oh, she doesn't accept foolishness. Oh, he's a no nonsense person. But really it's just your trauma leading. So it sounds like you're this stern, structured, get it together kind of person, but really you're just hurt. You're just a hurt leader. In those cases, those leaders many times may say loyalty, or you must stick it out, or you must not question the man or woman of God. A lot
Mm.
of times it's unhealed trauma coming out in leadership. And then you have the other ones who have done the healing work themselves. Those people are not afraid of personality types. So, like me, I can talk personally, and I tell people all the time that one of the reasons that I am so passionate or very bold, whether online or whenever I'm doing these presentations, is because I'm speaking from a heart that is bubbling in truth.
Right.
And I'm telling anybody this. I don't care about your personality type, whether you're feisty, fiery, you crash out, you pop off. It don't matter to me.
That's right.
Personalities don't scare me.
That's right.
Personality don't scare me. I want you to tell me the truth.
Mm.
I've been in cases where people are telling me something, oh, you're shouting, and they use curse words and expletives. And I used to be offended because I thought my reputation was being scarred.
Mm.
After I've done my healing work, I realized that one thing that the Holy Spirit really taught me, everybody wants love. At the end of it all, people are really looking for love.
Right. And to be and to feel a part. Yeah.
So now I get a different perspective of perfect love cast out all fear.
Yes. Right.
Because if I love you, why am I afraid of your personality? I don't care
Mm.
how you approach me. You come to me and you tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. It's now my responsibility as the healed person to give you a space to talk, to vent, to air it out. And then I don't match energy either. That's
No.
another thing. I don't match
Mm.
energy.
That's
Oh, you
problem.
go high, I go high. No. And you go low, I go low. That's not my style.
Don't resolve.
Nervous system speak to nervous system. If I shout at you, you're going to shout at me because my body gets primed to defend itself against your screaming at me.
Mm-hmm.
I approach you as calm, safe. All of a sudden, they came at you fiery, and Boswell, all of a sudden, you see the attitude start go down
Right. Simple.
because maintaining self-control. It's a fruit of the spirit. So personalities don't scare me. If I'm a leader and people want to say something to me, first of all, every time people talking or bringing a complaint to me about me, in that moment, one, I'm priming my spirit. Father, help me to humble myself. And second, I'm doing the soul work. I'm grounding myself. I'm regulating while they're talking to me, and I'm saying, you're being challenged, you're not being threatened. These are
Right.
things you have to practice. You have to, because guess what? Character development is a thing. We have to do it daily. We have to learn it. We have to go study, read upon it, do some research. What is emotionally intelligent? What is emotional intelligence? These are things that human beings, even after healing, we have to dive into for character growth. It's not just healing a wound. You can be healed and still have bad character.
You're true. True.
Sometimes we think healing is the end all and be all. No, there's a journey beyond that. Character development.
Mm.
Character.
It's very deep. Guys, if you're listening and you're liking what's going on here, this topic that's we're talking about, hurt people, go ahead, share the live. Let some other people know that we're alive. Eh?
I say, yes, guys, share, share, share.
Yeah,
Share, share,
share.
share, share.
Uh, so I'm going to
Absolutely.
get a little bit deeper. I asked this question to my panelists last week, and I'm going to ask you the same question too, right? Do you know of anyone who've been hurt so bad, right? Brace yourself, that they have committed suicide because of that hurt that someone caused them. Do you know anybody like that?
Ah, I've heard of stories. I'm not remembering right now if I know anyone personally who've
Hmm.
done that or who has done that. But I work with cases where there were many attempts because of
Elaborate. You want to
yes.
talk about it? Yeah. What causes them to be hurt so bad that
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah.
attempt to
Mm-hmm.
unalive themselves?
I am remembering a lot of them, but because of confidentiality with I wouldn't
Right.
want anyone to be able to figure out, oh, that's my story she's talking about.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
some general things that really cause people to go down that road. And it's funny enough, I have another, I have a major one that I'm gonna have to share next week about the same topic, the suicide part.
Right.
So, can I say that word on the
Yeah. Yeah.
platform?
I think you can.
Oh,
Yes. I said it last week because
okay.
people are. Listen. People
Mhm.
are actually are being hurt so bad by others, whether it's in ministry, whether it's in real life,
Mhm.
whether by family members, where they
Yeah.
feel as if, I don't need to be in this world anymore, or
Mhm.
the pain is so much hurtful emotionally, it
Mhm.
pushes them into depression, and they unalive themselves. So we
Yeah.
can, yeah, I did say the word suicide, yeah, because it's a real thing. It's not
Yeah.
like yeah, it's a real thing that's happening. So yeah, you
Mhm.
can say the word.
All right. So I was just checking because I don't want you to be censored by, the platforms who may have trigger words and
I
trigger
don't think
warnings.
suicide should be. I don't think it is. Maybe that's why they say unalive. A lot of people say
That's
unalive.
why most people use that term because
Oh,
sometimes the platforms kind of censor it.
so
But
okay.
in that right now the phrase is now different. It's no longer take your life, it's die by suicide.
Mm,
So even how they phrase it is a little bit different now because what they are saying is it sounds deliberate when you say the person committed. But if you say die by, it's like they were taken. So it's kind of a calmer way of, putting the blame on the person. So we're going to use that term die by, it's died by suicide.
what a world we
So,
live in. You can't be even. But go ahead.
right,
You gotta be so politically correct
right.
nowadays. You can't be real. If you be real, they censored you for everything. But go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's play with along with let's abide by.
By their
Um,
platform rules.
right. So with the cases, most times the issue is with a relationship of some sort. And the saying is so true that a lot of times it's a relationship of some sort that broke people. And it is relationship that will heal people.
Mm,
So most of the cases that I've seen, it was a betrayed relationship. It was a hurtful relationship that brought them to their wits' end. For example, a promised ending of being together and it didn't happen. And so that was one of the last cases I was looking at where this young lady, she was promised a relationship for years. And because she's had failed relationships before, this person, they played with her emotions and she attempted to take herself out quite a
mm,
few times.
wow.
There's another person that I'm remembering with relational issues like parental wounds, no father, feeling unworthy, like they don't belong, and
Wow.
they tried multiple times. Everybody bothers them, teases them. They feel like they're not as important. They feel like they're not loved. They feel like they're picked on. They feel like they're worse than nothing. The parent telling them that they are nothing, don't talk to me, I don't want to associate with you. And that skyrocketed their desire of not wanting to be here anymore. Because it's really, I want to stop this pain. I
Mm.
want to stop this pain. I remember for that person, the last attempt they made, I was so heartbroken. And the effect was they could not speak for a while because that's what the method that they tried, it temporarily numbed or disabled their ability to speak.
Mm.
So I took the person aside and I said to them, I know you can't respond, but if you would just hold on one more year for me, just one more year,
Mm.
one more year, no more attempts, one more year. And I promise you, things will not look this way next year. They could
Wow.
not respond, but all I saw were the tears rolling. And they nodded and they said, yes. I
Mm.
said, are you going to hold out one more year? They agreed, yes. Tears streaming down. And a year later, the person was okay.
They're
Life
better.
changed. They
Right.
were better. And so now that person, everywhere they go, if they're in my vicinity, they always make a stop because it's almost like I'm here because you stopped me. Everybody else laughed at the situation. Oh, you're a weakling. You really maybe is not supposed to be here because you can't take on stress. You need to just go rid everybody of the pressure and the burden of you being here. But I understood the real deeper meaning. It was a broken
Wow.
relation, a parent wound that caused that desire to not be here. And they
Wow.
couldn't see it. When you're in pain, you're not going to be able to see
Blinded.
how
They're blinded.
you're blinded by the lens of trauma. Your vision is limited. You can't see beyond. So everything about your life is centered around that pain. That pain navigates where you go, what you do, how you think, the things you decide to do, your decision, your feelings, your actions, your thought about people, your thought about love, your thought about life, yourself, and even God.
Mm.
And you just want it to stop. You just want it
And
to end. Just
wow.
want.
Wow. Talking about unintentional hurt. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there are times people hurt you,
Yeah.
or you may hurt someone, and you may not be aware that your action has
Mm-hmm.
caused pain on someone. And
Mm-hmm.
earlier you talk about having a humility and teachable spirit, right?
Yeah.
If someone comes to you and say, Shanice, you hurted me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you were unaware, I,
Yeah.
and it can be something so simple to you, but even though
Mm-hmm.
it's simple to you, it's major for someone else. And let's say you say, "That's what you getting. That's what you got mad. Man, get over it."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do you think that person should react to you
Mm-hmm.
responding that way towards them?
Mm-hmm. And that's a great one because we do it all the time. I do it a lot of times, so especially in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
because our perspective, it's different from each other. And sometimes what we can tolerate or window of tolerance, it's different for each person because our experiences are different. So what I can take, what I perceive to be okay, is going to be different from what you perceive to be okay.
Mm.
Maybe I can laugh at something you said, and the other person, what is joke to me is that to someone else, it's offense to someone else.
Oh
And
yes.
so if I say that, oh really, that you're behaving like that for, I expect the other person to have a right to, it may not be the right way, But if that person, you'd say, lash out, it is within fear thinking that that is a possible reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I just did, I denied them the right to be validated.
Yes.
I deny them the right to have freedom of speech.
True.
I deny them the right to express themselves authentically.
Mm-hmm.
I denied them the right to be themselves. And so I also cut off safety. I also made myself an unsafe person for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure did.
every time, every time someone marks themselves as unsafe, a little part of you etch them in your memory. Guard up with that one. Guard up with that one.
Dangerous. The one that dangerous.
Your nervous system starts to see them as danger.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, you wonder, why aren't you empathetic with this person? Why are you bitter? Why do you have secret resentments?
Mm-hmm.
Why, if they're crying tomorrow, you can't really feel for them because they're danger. They're code red in your brain.
Man.
They are code red in your brain.
Wow.
They're
Code
code red.
red in the bread. So
Mhm.
talking about code red, how do you get over that code red in your brain? Because you've
Mhm.
heard it somebody, that person, okay, feels like, okay, you didn't validate their hurt, right? So now that person is hurting, that individual is hurting.
Mhm.
How would you talk to that individual is hurting? Let's say, I'm going to put it, it's you, you're hurting. How
Mhm.
would you navigate through that process of
Mhm. Getting code
being,
red in your brain.
yes, get out of code red, so you can
Yeah.
be in a safe space where you don't hurt somebody else because you're in code red?
Uh-huh.
How
Uh-huh.
you
All right.
navigate through that
Let's
process?
and that's a beautiful question. Let's establish something before we even get to how to get code red out the brain. Because when you are imprinted, when you are imprinted by a past hurtful experience, your brain is naturally going to go to the negativity bias where it wants to self-preserve.
Right.
So, psychologists say that you may experience something wonderful at the same intensity at which you experience something negative. And your brain is going to remember the negative because the negative is its way to say you're going over into unknown territory. Stay safe. So, which one is going to do that for the brain? The negative. The
Mm.
negative is going to keep you safe. So, it's going to pull you back from trying, pull you back from going too close to people because that negativity will self preserve the
Mm.
human. That's what the brain thinks. It's always trying to keep you safe. So, the code red, it's, you'd say, a natural response to being burnt. So, you
Mm.
draw back and it's really a safety mechanism. Okay, that happened, pull back, pull
Mm.
back. Your brain is like a scared child. You have to teach your brain that it's safe again to go back out and play. Go back and play. Like a scared child. You don't convince a scared child by just telling them, oh, you're safe. You have to show them. See the environment. There's no dog. See, they're not going to hurt you. See, touch it, pet it. You're safe. You have to show them. So track record have to be repeated. Over time, the brain's programming will change. And this happen a lot with even couples and infidelity. You think right now you will never trust that person again. You will always be code red. So let's use me for example. When I am hurt by someone, one, if my spouse says something and it really cramp my style and hurt me real bad, I mean, at the moment, me I say, all right, watch how me I go put up a one black. Me not put two sheet of black, you know. I'm gonna put one blockage because we're married, so we can't do black you out. I'm gonna put up on one infrastructure blockage.
Right.
Now I give you two, I give you one.
Just one.
One thing that really stood out to me is I remember one time I was about to fling up on one wall, and the Lord said, Do not use the words to seal what you know about his heart.
Mm.
You know this person's heart towards you. And
Wow.
even now, as I'm saying it, I'm feeling it so deep within the core of me. You
Mm-hmm.
know your spouse's heart. You know they love you. You know the
Mm-hmm.
core of this person is you. The ripple effect sometimes outside is a byproduct of their experience.
Mm.
When you understand human dynamic, you will forgive easily. So that's my first. I always go back to that. What
Mm-hmm.
is this person's heart towards me? If you know somebody always a try slide you, shade you, backhand, manipulate, deceptive, and they hurt you, it's easy to start saying boundaries time. Boundaries.
That's the
Because that's
easiest. That's the easiest thing to do. Yeah, that's the easiest part.
easy. But when the person's heart is for you, but the words or the outer actions hurt you. Now, the other thing I learned, somebody who I loved, not spouse, but I love this person's friendship. And I thought this person was my friend. And it turns out that this person did not regard me as a friend, as I thought I was a friend. And the thing hurt me, bothered me. And Buzzy, when I cried to the Lord, I said, God, oh, like why I was not regarded, da da da. And one thing the Lord really said to me in that moment, check your expectation.
It's funny that you say that because Dr. Curtis Bercy last week he said that's the very first thing he started off with. He said expectations, the expectations
Yeah.
that you put on others. But
Mhm.
go ahead, go ahead. Don't mean to cut you. Go ahead.
So check your expectations. And I wanted scripture for that. Like, Lord, where is this in scripture? And I don't remember the exact, I think it's Proverbs again, where guard your heart.
Mm-hmm.
There's one talk about out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
Mouth speak it, right?
The other one is about I the Lord. It is I the Lord that try the heart. Because the what scripture that talk about the heart is desperately wicked, who can know it?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm frozen. Can you see me? I'm moving
I'm
now.
seeing you. I'm seeing you. You're good.
All right. So out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
Mouth speak it,
So
right?
if people are to guard their hearts, even with our relationships, even with our friendships, we have to be very careful how much expectation we are putting out there on people. Understand that human nature will ultimately be compromised by sin. And so, if we understand that and we live that way truly, 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 when people do things, we will, yes, have our boundaries, but we will be quick to forgive, have compassion. And yes, if it's a case where, okay, the person stole from you, you don't leave your bag around next time. But if they need a drink of water, don't deny them.
I'm gonna give you a pushback on that though, because you
Mm-hmm.
said if a person steal from you, you would leave the
What's your
water
bag?
around them, right? Because they hurt you in that manner. Maybe they stole something from you, right? So what if, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if God says to you, right? I forgive you, but I'm not gonna put you in that position again.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget what you did, and just keep reminding you of that, and don't give you another chance. How would
Mm-hmm.
that make you feel? Because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people say, I know we're not on forgiveness, but
Yeah.
part of hurting
With
has
forgiveness.
it correlates with forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
So if you say, okay, I forgive, but will never
Mm-hmm.
put myself in a position to be hurt by that person again. Like, do
Mm-hmm.
you truly forgive? Because
Mm-hmm.
is that a conditional? forgiveness, or is it an unconditional forgiveness? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for me, I feel like people use that as an excuse to safeguard themselves,
Mm.
right, from truly forgiving a person. Like, you got to be, when I say I forgive you, listen to me. That my wife can't understand it sometimes because she
Mm.
says, I don't know how you say you forgive people and they hurt you before, but you put yourself in the same position for them to hurt you again. Because
Mm.
once I forgive you, I forgive you. I'm not looking back at what you did. I'm moving on, right?
Mm.
Some people would view that as me being foolish,
Mm-mm.
right?
Yeah.
And, and how do you truly know when you forgive someone?
Mm-hmm. When the thing that they did, it does not stop you from interacting. It's not held over their head anymore.
Right.
But does that mean that you can't guard your heart? Because that's what the Bible says. It's your responsibility to guard your heart.
You're right.
It doesn't mean that you are not putting yourself in a position where, okay, so because you stole from me, I'm going to always have my stuff open around you. How do you know that the person has done the work to not steal again? Because sometimes the stealing is still something they're struggling with. So let's say someone who's struggling with lust. Your job is to guard your heart. So
Right.
if they made a pass at you, will you continue to put yourself in a position where they will lust again? I'm
True.
not saying that they can't lust with clothes, but will you walk half naked around them? No. What you're going to do, you're going to guard your circumstances. So you dress modestly because what you're doing, you're also helping your friend, your brother, your sister, your
Mm.
partner to stay in a position where they will not repeat the offense.
The trauma
So
doesn't.
I believe
Yeah.
it's like a community kind of help where if I know you're struggling with stealing and you stole from me, why would I want to put you back also in a circumstance where you're going to be tempted again? Is that my phone?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that mine?
Yeah, it's yours. I'm looking if it was mine, but mine is good.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I
No,
don't
it's
even
all
know.
right. We have a life outside of this, you know.
But yeah, so what we're saying is you're not cutting off that person where, oh my God, he's coming, run, and then you grab up everything that you own. No, not like that. Because the thing is, if you have forgiven, if you have forgiven, one of the ways you know you forgave is being back in that situation, and it is not the trigger to allow you to judge that person by that same standard.
Right. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not judging the person based
Can't
off.
judge them by the same standard.
Yeah, you gotta let that go.
But it doesn't mean that you are oblivious to the fact that some persons may not yet be in a position where they have turned fully from.
How do you measure that?
How do you measure that? That's a very good question. So if you and the person are friends, if you and the person are, let's say, a partner or a spouse. Will you always know? No, you will not. But guess what? Track record. We mentioned track record before. So, will it be easy? It will not be easy. But you give the person a chance to prove themselves. Prove themselves. The track record will speak. So, if you leave it there, or the person say, okay, I'm going X way. Let's say the person like to lie. I'm going next door, Okay, regulate yourself. Lord, take this. They said they're going next door. I don't really trust it. But guess what? I have to, if I say I forgave them, I'm going to have to learn to trust them. Trust comes with the forgiveness too. So I'm going to learn to trust again. Okay, when you find out the person never go next door, all right, we have to now put boundaries in place. We have to know one because guess what? The experience that you're giving them to prove is still being stepped on. It's still being stepped on. So one way is to allow growth, because not everybody is going to get things right immediately. The
Mm,
second way is, can you live with the possibility of a repeated human tendency? Some of us, we may say, oh, we forgive, but are you going to tell them that if you put a boundary there where, okay, this will not be the confined limitation to the friendship anymore or the relationship or whatever it is, can you tell that person that they're wrong to have a boundary?
mm.
We can't, because our job is to guard our space. Now, the third one, you cannot unhealthily guard up, because that's a safety behavior.
Problem,
And it
safety.
means that there is some amount of fear attached to that forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
The forgiveness is
It's
the
a
path.
trauma. It's a
Yes,
trauma.
because for the forgiveness is the freedom to say, you are not judged by this standard anymore. And that is why I say, if the person wants a drink of water and you can give it, you're going to give it, because they're no longer held captive by what they did before.
Right.
They're no longer held captive. And even if you feel hurt attached to it, a lot of times we feel like, okay, if we feel a tinge of hurt, we have not forgiven. Check your heart. If you feel tinges of hurt with someone that you have forgiven, yet still you can still serve that person. Ask the Lord to help you with the hurt. Get to know the person and their why. What is the why behind this? What was your intention? Hey, forgiveness is layered.
Yeah, it
Hurting.
is. Absolutely is.
Because, Buzzy, if we understood, if we took the time to really know people before we cut them off, forgiveness would be easier.
Yes.
Forgiveness would be easier. If we took the time to establish human to human connection before we block somebody, forgiveness would be easy.
So much easier.
So much
Right.
easier, because everybody has a story.
You're
And
right.
at the end of it, if we want to say, all right, let's move on from this, but the relationship will look a little bit different. If, let's say, a friendship, we can't tell people that it is not right to have a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
That also has its place. It also has its place.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, yours truly, Shanice Layla Bogle. She's on the Couch Talk episode. Hurt people, hurt people. Guys, at this time, I'm going to leave the forum open. If you have any questions, comments, I cannot see your comments right now because I'm sitting down right here. But if you have any questions that you may want to ask, or any experience that you want to share of you being hurt, and how did you resolve that hurt, and have you forgiven that person of hurting you, or have you caused hurt to someone else that you were totally unaware of? At this time, if you have any questions, you could post them in the chat, and let's go, let's talk about it.
Mhm.
I think that was me. i think I think
Okay,
that one is me.
okay. So before we go to the questions, if there are any questions, I
Yeah.
also wanted to add something. I think you asked before what came to mind regarding this statement. So if you caught the live a little bit later, the one of the first things we wanted to establish, and we want to reestablish it.
Right.
Even though hurt people, and that is the main bottom line, the foundation. It's a yes and no version, because it doesn't always is like that. It's not a blanket statement. So yes and no, in the sense that yes, the risk is way higher. If you are a hurting individual, you will, or it's possible that your common pattern is to move on to impacting others in the way that you've been hurt before, because your defense mechanism is going to be way up. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
be less compassionate. You're typically going to be more guarded towards relationship. And so these will play a big factor. No, the truth is, not every hurt people hurt people. Not
It's
everybody
not.
who's hurt hurt. because these are not true all the time. Because, guys, one, hurt people also shut down. Not everybody will hurt back. Hurt people also shut down. The
Ooh,
second is hurt people also collapse and submit.
this sounds like you want
So
to go
it's
in a whole different conversation right now with this one.
layered. So hurt people, because but sometimes we think that this is just going to be how it is. But a lot of people, and this is why we don't know when we hurt people, because how we're looking for it, we think everybody's gonna lash out and say, you hurt me, and you this and you that, and everybody's gonna have a crash out moment. But no.
Some
And
people
so
react different.
if we're aware of what it looks like, we can also know that the person who is constantly pleasing you and submitting to your request may be afraid to speak what you have done and how you've impacted them.
Is it afraid, or would you say that person who is experienced that hurt, I've given up? Because
It's bottom line is fear.
you think so?
It's
Would you
fear.
say that?
Yeah, because when you remember enough, fear, it's a fear of something. Whenever safety is taken, whenever trust is taken, there's a trade off.
Mm-hmm.
Something is traded. So if safety is being traded, what is it being traded for? Trauma says, psychologist says that when the brain goes into fight and flight or trauma mode, safety is traded for fear. So
Mm-hmm.
the bottom line of a traumatized person is powerlessness. And what is that powerlessness linked to? Fear. The
Mm.
message in the brain is if I don't please you, they will leave. If I don't submit, if I don't shut down, I am going to be seen as the problem. Fear. So it may not look like, oh, I'm afraid of the dark, but there's a fear to be alone, fear to be rejected, fear to not be validated, fear to not be loved, fear of shame, fear of guilt, fear of being blamed for things going wrong. A
Mm.
lot of trauma, the basis of that is some type of fear.
Fear.
Some type of fear. Even when we have perfectionist, there's a fear there. Even when we have hyper responsible caregivers, fear.
Mm.
Even when we have people hurting themselves, fear. Because it all boils down to a dysregulated nervous system. Why are we hurting others? Why do we hurt ourselves? Hurt people. But there are some who will turn the hurt in another way. In
So,
another way.
so people that been hurt, they have ways of dealing with that hurt. So you say some people could shut down.
Shut down.
They
Yeah.
may not say nothing to you because
Mhm.
they don't want to be combative. Like they don't want to seem like
Be
they
a
want to fight.
problem. Yeah. So that's the
Right.
fear. You don't want to be a problem.
Right. And there are others now who have not been healed by the hurt that they've experienced. So now, okay, you know what? Whenever I see something that looks like something that I've experienced before, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to impose that on someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be intentional and unintentional,
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
right? And there's a person now who's been hurt so bad, they
Yeah.
want you to feel that pain that you, whatever pain you put out on me, I'm putting that same pain back on you. You need to feel what I'm feeling. And it's
Mhm.
justified too.
Yeah.
Because if you hurt me and I feel like I need to hurt you, oh, I need to hurt you. You need to feel or experience what I'm
Oh
experiencing.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
what if you did it unintentional and then
Mm-hmm.
me reacting in a
Yeah.
way to hurt you now?
Mm-hmm.
How do you
Like
talk about that?
cycle. I remember this story where this young lady, she was, I believe she was molested, and she contracted some kind of disease, or I forgot the term, a sexually transmitted disease, STD, or one of them. And
Chlamydia.
her her plan, I don't remember which one exactly,
I
but her
mean, yeah,
was
whatever
AIDS.
the.
AIDS. It was AIDS. It was AIDS. So
Okay.
her, what she did, she started to sleep. So she said she slept with over 150 men because she wanted to reinfect, or she wanted to infect her
I
community.
think I was. What was this
It,
on TV? I think
no,
it was.
I
No,
don't
it
know if
wasn't.
it's on TV, but
I
it was
saw.
a
I
case
saw.
in
I saw a
Jamaica.
talk show like this.
Oh, there was a talk show like that, but
There
this
was a
was in
talk show.
years
Mm.
ago. A young girl who um she infected an entire community because she was molested. And if you're saying it was a talk show, then that means there are more than one cases
Oh yeah, it's
that
not. Yeah, I
are
see. Yeah,
on.
men and women did it. Yeah.
Yeah, women, men do it too. So
Hmm.
sometimes there is that revenge, bitterness, anger, where the hurt is no, because you see, pain needs an exit. Pain needs an exit.
Mm.
Needs an exit. And so it may be on someone who did nothing to you. And that's the unfortunate part. So the poor character development, the Christ-like behavior cannot be matured because that part of the submission, even when you're hurting, the offended heart, it's not yet realized. And
Mm.
so Jesus Christ don't have the lordship over the soul, the hurt soul. That hurting soul is not yet submitted to God. So no rebirth can happen. Rebirth cannot happen. Anybody who takes the Lord's life must give up back theirs. And we have a lot of safe people. We talk about hurt people, hurt people. We have a lot of safe people who cannot experience rebirth because they took on Jesus's life. Oh, I have salvation, I'm saved. But did you give God yours?
He said, "Any man that loves me, let him first deny himself, take up his cross. His cross. That means you got to pick up your own cross and follow me."
Yeah, got to give up your life too. So you
That's
took
right.
him, you got to give God your life, every part of that life.
So that's a transaction then.
That's the try. You remember what I tell you? A trade off.
Trade off. I
A
die
trade
for
off.
you. I die for you. You gonna be able. You got to die for me too.
Yeah, you have to die. You have
Yes. Die
it's a
to yourself, man. You got to die to yourself.
you gotta die.
And the thing about that too, people, when you die to yourself, now you put your egos aside and you allow God to fill your life with so much of His Spirit that whenever hurt comes your way, He
Mhm.
shows you, He gives you the wisdom on how to deal with those trauma
Yeah.
experiences and those pain or hurt that you've experienced, whether it's emotional, physical, or psychological or mental. All right. So
Yeah.
man, it's so good to have you here, Shanice, as
Thank you.
always,
Here.
um, on Couch Talk. So,
Thank you.
guys, is there any I can't see on the chat, but are there any questions? Just can I hope they can pin it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There we go. From Shannara Gaz. Go ahead. Can you see that, Shanice? Because I'm too far back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said that when you're a hurt person, you have a choice either to pass it on or let it stop with you. Absolutely. You do have a choice. And we touched on that initially. Letting it stop you means letting it stop with you means putting in that work to heal. Absolutely. There was this case that I saw, Shanara, where a young lady was saying she cannot let the thing go. And
Mm,
one of the main reason was that yes, the language of hopelessness jumps in a lot when people are hurting. And two, she rendered her life ineffective because now that is moving on to Bazi, what we call suffering. Suffering is a choice, but the hurt, you may not be able to control how people hurt you. But if
right.
you move into suffering stage, it means that you're deliberately allowing the pain to continue when you could make it stop with you. That part is our responsibility. That is
Mm,
our battle. That's our battle. So
Mm,
if you say you are not going to let it go or this is too hard, then you have rendered your life ineffective. That
mm,
means you're giving up on a beautiful life that you could have. That means you're not wanting to betray your pain because probably you're not ready to do the work, or you feel like if you do the work, the responsibility falls on you. And you feel like you have the right to crash out because they hurt you. But the truth is, you have to also see yourself. And
mm.
that seeing the self part is what a lot of us will say, but Lord, I didn't do it, they did it to me. And that part feels unfair. It
Yes.
feels unfair. And so the betrayal of that pain, if I let this go, then I'm betraying the memory of what happened. Absolutely not. Once we head down that path, we're rendering our lives ineffective because suffering is a choice. Suffering is going beyond the situation of what happened. The pain is what we can't control, the hurt. We didn't do what they did to us, yes, but once we move into that, oh, I am stuck here, I'm stopping here, you're now entering suffering stage, and that's a choice.
Mm.
Very good question.
Thank you, Shanara. Anybody else? I think there's a delay with us because we're live, so I think it's like an 8 second delay. But
Mm-hmm.
hopefully there are other questions that we can see. But there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Shavina says, very true. Hurt people shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's yes, that's some people reaction to being
Yeah.
hurt. Cause me personally, I shut down. Like
Mm,
I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not
mm,
gonna go back and forth. Like I shut down.
yeah.
Yeah, I do. Like I'm getting. I think I'm getting a little bit more open with being hurt now. Like I'm confrontational with anyone that hurts me
Mm-hmm.
because you're not gonna do something to me and think it's gonna be okay, and I'm not gonna say anything. No, if it's okay for you to say what you say and do what you do, no, we're gonna have a conversation about it. That's where I'm
And
at in my. I'm at that stage in my life now. We're
mhm,
gonna have a conversation, and that's biblical too, because the Bible says if you know your brother have an ought against you, right, you must
leave.
first leave your gift at the
Go.
altar and go back to that person and make it right, right.
Yeah.
And if that person don't want to listen to you, you bring someone and let them talk. And if
Yeah.
not, then you bring. So
It's
that
another one.
you take
So
the
yeah.
it's a process to doing
Yeah.
this thing. So at this point in my life, I'm very intentional about how I deal with people, how I carry myself amongst people. I don't
Yeah.
want to hurt you, but if you hurt me, just know that I'm going to let it be known that look, you did something I didn't like how you did it. Let me
Mm,
hear from you what was happening in your mind, so
right.
I don't carry this around and thinking, because there are a lot of times we mess up friendships and relationships because of miscommunication,
Yeah.
right? So I want to know why you said what you said, and let's
Yeah.
come to a resolution, and I can
Mm,
move on. Yeah,
yeah.
but I normally shut down. That's my first go to.
Re-
I'm shutting down. I don't want. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to
mm.
watch you, let you say what you say until maybe you just may get the bad side of me one day. But
No,
I'm coming.
that's the
I'm
part.
coming out of that. That's
That's
the
the
hurt
that's the
people.
part
Hurt
of
people.
want to avoid. So because that's what I've been avoidant is going to harbor resentment. So
Right.
as best as possible, we want to, if you need a cool off, but you want to come back with a posture of perfect love. You see, when you really love somebody, it casts out all fear. And
Everything.
biologically
Yes.
and psychologically, you cannot connect to anything that you fear, you hate, or you judge. If you judge
Mm.
someone, the connection with you and that person will be limited. If you fear someone, the connection with you and that person will be limited. If you hate someone, the connection with you and that person will be limited. Why? There's a psychological reason.
Hmm.
Your brain and body will not connect to anybody who you fear, hate, or judge because one, you're looking for an exit to safety. Remember, your brain's number one priority is to self preserve,
Yeah, protection.
protection.
Protection,
And
man.
so if we're shutting down when people hurt us, there is some kind of work to be done. What there's a message there with the protection, the shutting down. Is this protection going to keep me safe from being in this person's space? Is this going to keep me safe from me crashing out on this person? And I use crashing out a lot because I work with, with teenagers. So that's their term, that's their language.
That's in turn.
Yeah, so but we could go so much more into why and how to help an avoidant person or somebody who, take the left when the conversation is on the right, they take the left. There's a question right here that says, what about a hurt person that can't identify they are hurt and is causing others to face that same trauma? How can you help that person? That's a beautiful question, Mrs. G. So that answer, I'm going to try to keep it very simple. And if you can't tell that you are hurting, when I was going through my pain, I could not tell that I was hurting. My husband said to me, something is wrong with you. And I said, no, something is wrong with you. And that was because I did not know that there was something called father wound. I didn't know. And so when he was
Mm.
saying, oh, this has to be checked out, I thought he was the problem.
Oh wow.
And then when we see people who are hurting, somebody must be loving enough to pull the person aside and say, hey, that behavior is not normal. And anybody who is online who don't have anybody to pull them aside and say, hey, that behavior is not normal. If someone says something to you about how you've hurt them, be willing to be teachable. Take up your phone and take this strategy. Google about yourself. You don't
Mm.
know. Right now, ChatGPT is the ChatGPT. Yes, if you don't know, say, is it normal to scream at my partner and not apologize? Type it in, Google it. Right now, we have a lot of people who don't know. We're continuing cycles of pain. Yes, it's true. But if someone don't know and you are questioning, I have some tendencies that I may not know if I'm hurting these people. Ask somebody about it as well. So either you
Yeah.
Google yourself, ask someone, do you think this is normal? I'm on
Google
this
me.
I'm on this growth journey. I'm on this growth journey. Do you think this is normal? Because I'm concerned about people who just think them all right and perfect. Everybody need a mentor. So
Yes.
challenging everybody on the platform. You may not know you're hurting someone. You may have some behaviors that you're not sure about. Okay, once in a while, check in with somebody. Mr. Anglin, Boswell, Shanice, Mrs. McNeish, sorry, Mrs. Giles, do you think this is normal? I tend to lash out. Growth, growth.
How do you know though? How
How
do
do you,
you
is that a question?
Yeah, how
Or
do
how
you
do you
know like if you're lashing out? Because when you're in the situation, you're blinded by your
Mhm.
reactions of what you're doing, right? So
Right,
how do you first come to actualization that look, I am displaying this behavior, right?
right.
So now if you're displaying that behavior and how do you assess that you are actually displaying that behavior and
Mhm.
take accountability for that behavior? Because you're not
Mhm.
going to ask that question if you
Just randomly, right.
if you're blind by it, you're not going to
Mhm.
ask a question.
Right. Actually, and that is true. So, what I like to tell people is one, listen to what others are saying about you. Listen
Hmm.
to what others are saying about you. Listen to what people come to you and talk to you about. Listen to what you and people get in an argument about. Because these are telltale signs. So if nobody has ever said it to you, like, hey, you know that you are like this, listen to what you and people normally tend to get in tension or malice or a little argument or disagreement about. If you and nobody not getting no disagreement, if nobody don't come to you and tell you, say, oh, hey, you know, you do this and I don't like it, then what I'm saying is your next bet Right now, let my voice and Mr. Anglin's voice be your voice of reason. Begin to
Mm,
document behavior map and track, because we could ask these questions until tomorrow. What if
yeah.
nobody has ever told me? What if me and nobody know in an argument? We are telling you right now. Identify your strengths and identify your, we call them weakness, or things you're working toward. Google them.
Google yourself.
Free, free, quick, cheap. Google them. Write down your strengths. Write down the things you are trying to work on. And
Mm.
as Shanara said, many times, because people don't tell us, we make the decision to keep doing it. We're unaware. We're
Yes.
unaware. And the truth is, awareness, the other part of it, the flip of the coin, sometimes you're aware and you feel good that you're aware. I know I love to shout. I ain't not nothing about the shouting. I know I love to just get angry. That's a little weakness. Me just, hey, one thing about me, if you step to me, I'm gonna step to you. You're aware, but what else after the awareness?
What are you doing about it? Mm-hmm.
Because awareness is key, but what are you doing about it? And so we
Mm-hmm.
have the other side. You are not aware. We're telling you now, all of us have flaws as human beings. All of us, these are the moments where they are your voice of reason. So if you've never heard it, you're never sure. You're not sure right now if you have trauma imprints. You're not sure right now if you are a hurt person who've hurt people. Write down the things that either you see, or you feel, or you're wondering, or you think it's a weakness and you're working on it. I don't really like this about myself. Google it. If you're not sure, link me in the inbox. Message me. Message Mr. Anglin. He's a counselor as well.
I don't tell
Message.
people that. I don't tell nobody that. I mean, people
Crack,
just call me for advice, like, but I don't tell nobody I'm a counselor. I don't.
scratch that, guys. Take that off the air. Don't put that part in.
I am a counselor though, guys. I
Of
am.
course you are.
That's what I went to school. That's what I went to school for. But
Yeah.
Abigail had a question. That's Abigail McNeish. What does I can't see it from here. It says, "How can I make a frequent?"
Offender aware of how their behavior has affected me. All right. So one, it depends on the proximity with you and that person.
Mm,
If that person is not somebody you can just take to the side and you need to like schedule a meeting. Sometimes it's like a boss or a supervisor. Sometimes it's a friend. So you
well,
have to taper what the relationship is as a first step. Is this person going to be receptive? Can they take it? What's their capacity? What's their tolerance level? And you set up a conversation around who that person is to you. Excuse me. So if again it's a less close person, you want to make it a more professional approach. Hey, can I talk to you? And you talk to them. If it's a friendly person, it's easier to slide in it. Hey, can I talk to you? You really do something women never really approve of. Why you do that? I want to get to know your version, because when you start with the you, the person they're gonna prepare to defend themselves against.
defense coming up. The defense wall is going up. Yes,
Uh-huh.
because they feel like you're attacking them. Yeah.
Right. The attack is so that is why I say always approach things in the heart of love. Guys, I know we live in a world where everybody's trying to preserve their feelings. A lot of us are going to get crushed along the way because our duty is to, by any means, save some. Always remember that's our bottom line duty as a believer. By any means, save at least one. These friendships and relationships and spouse and this and that and that, where our aim is to save, bring people to the cross. So when we're approaching people who've hurt us, remember, inject that part in our hearts: compassion, humility, forgiveness, and ask the Lord to teach you how to love these people so
Mhm.
that it will cast out all fear.
All fears.
When
Perfect.
you don't fear persons and you love them, you don't care about their personality and whether or not they're going to be able to take what you're telling them. You're going to tell them because you love them. Hey, you've been repeatedly offending me because this is how it has been said, and I'm feeling some type of way about it. Why do you say that? What do you mean? Is there anything I can do? Don't take yourself out of it and be like, say, oh, I just you versus me. Ask them, is there anything that I have done why this has been the recurring behavior towards me? How can I fix it? How can I help remedy this experience? How can I help ensure that this doesn't happen again? And if the person just not like you because they just don't like you, then you can say, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Right.
You have to coin the words in such a way where it comes to a sensible resolve. I'm so sorry you feel that way. Oh, really? I did that. I said that. I'm like that. I looked at you that way. Oh my. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Is there anything else I can do to ensure that we don't
Mm-mm.
get to it again?
The key
All
thing
right.
the key thing she said a frequent offender. So that
Mm-hmm.
naturally tells me that she's around someone maybe every day or maybe 2 3 times a week, because if it's a frequent offender, at what point do you say, all right, I'm gonna approach this individual? Because sometimes you got to approach individuals, but the thing about approaching an individual is, why? What's the intended goal? Are you approaching this person for resolution? Are you
All right.
approaching this people for conflict? Or
Mm-hmm.
so the thing is, what is the end result that you're trying to accomplish from this approach, right? My approach is to always have resolution, not to, oh, you go your way and I go my way. No, no, no. My thing is to have
Yeah.
resolution, reconciliation, all that. That's my approach, right? So when I'm doing that, I am gonna be very strategic at the way I approach you, right? Whether you're of a person of authority, whether you're a person of
Yeah.
just like me, it don't matter. I approach everyone pretty much the same anyway, with respect, right? And now, if I approach you with respect and you choose to disrespect me, now I leave that on you. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
lower myself to your level or your expectations to justify or to make you feel as if maybe you're better than me. Or, no, 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 no. If you want to feel like you're better than me, that's no problem. It's okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to address you respectfully first. And I will never, my thing is, I knowingly, I don't feel like I've ever disrespected anyone, but there are times people say I'm disrespectful or I'm rude. I know I'm known to be very blunt, right? So that's given, right? So my thing for you, Abigail McNeish, if someone is a frequent offender in your life, right? At some point, you have to put a stop to it, because
Mm-hmm.
that person is not going to put a stop to it, because you're the one who's being offended. So now you have to let that person know, look, this what you said, specifically this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Write it down if you have to write it down, and say, this what you said has been affecting me, and you keep on doing it and doing it and doing it over and over and over again, and I am talking to you about it, and I'm just letting you be aware. Now if you continue with that offense, now I know that, okay, you really don't care for what I brought to your attention.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I move on from there? Okay, I'm going to bring someone else in the equation, right? That's Bible, biblical. Biblical approach, you can never go wrong. If that person refuses now to accept what you've brought to their attention, now you leave that between them and God, and stay that that person way, and still love them. Can you display a love even though that person hurt you and offended you frequently? Can you still maintain that love for them? So,
Mm-hmm.
but
And
don't.
I
Go
Great
ahead.
point. Very good point, Buzzy. And I love what Shonara said. She said that, and that is something that we really can try and throw in there as well. When we're approaching someone who has caused some kind of harm, emotional injury, your best bet is to address the behavior. Address
Yes.
the behavior and not the person, because
Yeah, right.
person is separated from the behavior, and at times it's a byproduct of experiences. So, and it's a byproduct of perception. So sometimes people have perceptions of us and they didn't know us until it's clarified, or it's after the conversation it's clarified. You always want to leave that open door for a salvaged relationship. Or like you say, reconciliation. Will all of them turn out to be reconciled? No.
No.
And that is where, you'll have to understand that that's just human relationships and tendencies. We don't always see eye to eye and boundaries come into play. But it's very important that we address behaviors first before we address people. What if I've reached the point where I couldn't care less about what they do? I feel like I've become desensitized to them.
That's the
That's the
shutdown. That's the
that's
shutdown.
the disadvantage of waiting too long. Because what was your window of tolerance? And this is why
Mm.
we say that people, when we have wounds, we must address them, because that means we're going to also not necessarily hurt people, but we start to inflict the wound on ourselves. That right there is a prime example of collapse and submit, fawning, people pleasing, extending the avoidance. And then when it keeps up, crash out happens.
Crash
Numbing.
out. That's your word for tonight. Crash out.
Numbing happens when we become,
Desensitization.
yeah, we're desensitized. So
That's
when we
tough.
become numb, yeah, when we don't feel, we don't care. And
That's
that's the
bad.
part where it's gonna be challenging. It's
Hmm.
not going to be challenging to even feel for the person. Because if this person is just a person that is not receptive to other people's feeling, bring it to their attention. You may not be looking for a reconciled relationship, but you're saying, "Hey, I want to create my boundaries." And you're not telling them I want to create my boundaries. You're going to tell yourself, you have to speak up for yourself. You are your biggest advocate. You are your biggest advocate. And so you have to question, why did I take so long? Why
Mm.
did I take so long to say something? What was the fear behind it? What did I trade for my safety?
What was a
There was,
transaction?
there was a transaction. There was a trade-off.
The transaction now I'm desensitized. Now, if anything happened to you, I could care less.
Right.
That's a bad
So
place to
if
be in.
you, if you need help to coin that conversation, reach out to someone who can help to bring your perspective, your feelings into perspective. You don't just want to go fresh off the bat, because you're going to go from an emotive place and not from a logical place. And you want to
Mhm.
go logically. Okay. So reaching out to someone you trust to help you with that question can be very good.
Ladies
Desensitization
and gentlemen,
so trauma related and will cause you to become hurt and act out. Speaking up about your feelings should always be your priority. Yes, that's you. You are your biggest advocate. Very good, Shanara. Then you
mm.
become part of the cycle that may also start recreating hurt for others. Very good.
Oh,
Because you see, Tanika, that's a beautiful one. You see, that is why the blanket statement can't always be true. Hurt people, yes, but it's not always so.
and that's
The
why I said it like that. And that's why my don't mean to cut you, but that's why I asked: is it a choice?
yeah,
Because if somebody hurt you, you got to decide. Okay, am I going to continue to hurt somebody else? It's the choice is back to you. Comes right back to
yeah.
you. But go ahead.
And the choice is also linked to the imprint, because your choice is also based on the imprint of the hurt in you.
Mm,
So your response to the hurt can be to shut down in response. Your response to the trauma can also be to avoid, to become avoidant. I
yes.
avoid conflict so I don't be seen as the problem or the bother. I avoid conflict so people don't think I'm weak, or I am always complaining, or I am the cause of this this company or this relationship to not be going forward. So let me take it. Let me take it. Or I want people to think I'm resilient. I want people to think that I'm friendly, I'm bubbly, I'm thick skinned.
Mm.
But are you authentic? Are you living authentically? And Abby, that is something I vowed to myself years ago. Listen, I'm very tactful, but I'm not going to at some point, I cater to, all right, being observant, being aware, give people grace. But I threw that through the window a long time ago where people pleasing is the name of the game, no more. And I'm not doing it in a way where, oh, I'm gonna, disrespect you. No,
No,
but you have to advocate for yourself
no.
because you're also teaching people how to treat you.
Hmm.
You're teaching people how to treat
Ladies and gentlemen, I never expected this to go this long. I was just gonna keep her for an hour because this is gonna continue. This serious conversation is gonna continue, and next week we're gonna have another friend of mine, Allison Cornelius. She will be on the couch, not on the couch, but just like her, like Shanice
you.
Layla Bogo tonight, and we're gonna continue this discussion on hurt people, her views, and she's going to talk about some of the stuff that she's been through, and
Yeah.
whether it's in church or in the work experience. But this is a great topic, a great conversation tonight with you, Mrs. Layla Bogle, and
Okay.
I really appreciate you stopping by to not be on the couch this time, but be on the couch talk wherever you. What's that? North Carolina, South Carolina. That's where you probably don't want to
Georgia,
give your location. South.
Georgia.
She's in. Oh, you move again. South. She's at South, people. She's in
No,
South.
yeah, Georgia.
She's
I
in
mean,
Georgia. And if guys, if you need to reach her, she's called a trauma boss. So you could check her out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Follow her page. When two becomes one, right? That's your page on YouTube. Go ahead.
yeah,
You do that.
the marriage version of it. That's the marriage and relationship healing trauma in marriage and relationships. That's the when two become one. My husband and I, and every other platform is Shanice Layla Bogle regarding healing, womanhood, you name it, etiquette, femininity. Shanice Layla Bogle.
Yes, ladies. So if you need to learn some etiquette and some ways how to treat your husband,
It's all linked back to trauma. So
it's
helping women how to heal trauma for better relationships.
That's right. Your trauma boss is here, Shanice Layla Bogle. So you guys can reach out to her. She goes around and she does motivational speeches as well. So if you need her at an event, you can book her. Yes, you can book her. She's taking bookings. We're putting it out there. She takes bookings. All right. So
Glory.
so if you need her at your event or you need her in on your platform, don't be afraid to reach out, and you want to put your contact info, like as far as Facebook or whatever platform they could inbox you at, or your email.
Team, how do I? It's Layla Bogle at gmail.com.
Okay. And
So
guys,
Laylor Bogle, LaylorBogle at gmail.com.
all right, thank you so much for being here. And
Thank
guys, listen
you.
and listen. Go ahead.
No, we're saying thank you for having me.
Anytime, anytime. I'm excited. And for people, listen, December 6th, just brace yourself for the perpetual anniversary. It will be at 70 Mills Road in Irvington, New Jersey. So this is an event where all the churches united, and we have different worship leaders in New Jersey that comes together, and we come together and we just worship, and we're going to be having food, we're going to be having gifts, we're going to give away stuff, and we're going to be talking and fellowshipping together. So thank you, Shanice Layla Bogle, and I will see you guys next week on Couch Talk, same time, same place. Have a good night. Peace and love.